Hello friends. A couple months back, my dad did a tutorial on how to make a LED piano visualizer. Today, we are doing the same tutorial with the same software. However, in this tutorial, we have made the software installation extremely simple. And even if you have no experience dealing with electronics, you'll still be able to follow this. In this video, we have also shown how to make the physical connections or the wiring for this project, as it was widely requested in the previous tutorial. So, if you were holding on making the LED visualizer because you were unsure if you could do it, this video is for you. Please note that you will need to download a file which contains the software pre-installed, and I will send the link of the file with a small donation to help me with some pocket money. Please check the details in the description. If you'd rather configure the software yourself, no worries, you can still follow my previous tutorial that is linked up there. A link to the developer's GitHub site is also linked in the description. If this video has been of help, please consider subscribing to my channel. It will greatly help me build a resume for college. Like last time, this tutorial is divided in two parts, the software configuration and the wiring or physical connections. Before we get started, let's look at the list of parts needed to build the visualizer.
We need some tools like the wire stripper, a small Phillips head screwdriver. We will need some screws, but these come along with the other parts, so you don't need to buy these separately. If your computer does not already have a SD card reader, you need to buy one. A 2 meter length of WS2812 LED strip with 144 LEDs per meter. 2 to 3 strands of Raspberry Pi jumper wires with female jumpers on at least one side. A small piece of heat shrink. A 16 GB micro SD card. Please note that if you're downloading and using my image, you need a 16 GB SD card, and preferably the same brand as I linked in the description. A different sized card will not work with my image. Next, you need a Raspberry Pi Zero. I ordered it as a kit which came with the mini HDMI adapter, micro USB OTG cable, and a power adapter, but if you go for the kit, you need to solder the GPIO pins yourself. If soldering is not your thing, you can simply order the Raspberry Pi with pre-soldered GPIO pins. In the later case, you will have to order the HDMI, USB, and power adapters separately. You will need a LCD hat which helps control the LED color, brightness, etc. You will then need a GPIO multiplier. You can skip the GPIO multiplier if you're confident of your soldering skills. You will most likely need some additional wire to increase the wire length. Even though I have not used it in the video, you will probably need to increase the length of the wire from the power adapter to the LED strip for which you can use this wire. Like I mentioned, the power supply for the Raspberry Pi already came with the kit. You'll still need to order a separate power supply for the LED strip. A small adapter comes along with the power supply which makes the connections simpler. Depending on the type of MIDI port that your piano has, you will need one of the two types of MIDI cables shown. Please check the video description on how to obtain the visualizer software download link. Once you have the link, open up a browser window and copy-paste the link provided. Click on download. Next, click on download anyway and the file will begin to download on your computer. After you download the file, it will normally be in your downloads folder. I have moved it to a folder named Google on my desktop so I can easily get to it later. Once you have the file downloaded, open up a browser window, go to google.com, and then search for the Win32 disk imager. The site will normally show up as the first searched result from the site sourceforge.net. Go ahead and open the link and then download the software. Once the installer for the Win32 disk image is downloaded, go to your downloads folder and double click on it to install. Next, insert your 16 GB SD card into your laptop or desktop computer. If your computer does not have a SD card reader built in, you need a separate SD card reader. Once the SD card is inserted in the computer, open the Win32 Disk Imager software that you just installed. Under the devices, choose the drive letter for your SD card. It is important that you make sure the right drive letter is selected. If you choose an incorrect drive, that may end up getting erased. After choosing the drive letter, click on the Browse button and choose the image file that you downloaded in the first step. After selecting the file, click on Write. I will fast forward the step at 1000x speed. It took about 20 minutes for the step to complete on my computer. Once completed, open the Explorer window and eject to your SD card. After ejecting the SD card using the Explorer window, also eject it from the computer. At this point, the software part of the install is complete. However, before we move forward with the wiring, I strongly encourage you to validate the software install. To do so, keep the following items handy: SD card, Raspberry Pi, LCD hat, micro USB OTG cable, and power adapter for the Raspberry Pi. First, insert the SD card in the Raspberry Pi. Look at the top of your Raspberry Pi. Right above the ports, you will see the USB and power is written. Insert the micro USB OTG cable in the port labeled USB and plug in the power adapter in the port labeled power. Next, carefully attach the LCD hat on top of the Raspberry Pi and then plug in the power. After a wait of 2 minutes, you should see a menu-driven interface on the LCD hat. If you see the menu interface, congratulations, your software install is complete. You can shut down the Raspberry Pi using the menu on the LCD hat. Wait for a minute for it to shut down and then unplug power. We will now make the physical connections or wire our visualizer. This image shows the connections that you will make. Don't worry, I will show you each step, but if you have experience wiring, just refer to the circuit and you're good to go. I have broken down the wiring into multiple steps. In the first step, you will need these items: the LED strip, 2 strands of jumper wires with female jumpers on at least one side, the other side does not matter, some extra wire to increase wiring length. This is optional and I have not used this wire in this video, but you'll probably need to increase the length, which you can do with this wire at the end of install and after everything is working. You will need a wire stripper or something that can help you strip the wire. Next, you will need the power socket that came along with the power supply for the LED strip. Let's begin with cutting one end of both jumper wires and stripping them while making sure that the other end of both wires have a female socket. Now that both jumper wires are prepared, let's look at the LED strip. If you look closely, your LED strip has arrows pointing to one direction. We will make our wiring connections on the side pointing away from the arrows. Once again, the wiring will be on the side pointing away from the arrows, not towards the arrows. Let's take a look at the wires. There will be wires of 3 colors. There will be 2 wires of red, 2 wires of white, and 1 wire of green color. We will use our wire stripper to strip wires of all 3 colors, the red, white, and green. Once the LED strip is prepared for wiring, we will connect the red wire from the LED strip into the positive or plus side of the power socket. Now, pick up the green jumper wire and fold the wire strands back on the PVC. Put the shrink wrap tube on the green wire and then twist the wire with the green wire on the LED strip. Bring back the shrink wrap tube over the wire that you just twisted together and use hot air to shrink the shrink wrap. Alternatively, you can use an electrician's tape to secure the loose wire. In the next step, twist the white jumper wire and the white wire of the LED strip together. As you can see, these wires are small, and if you want to increase the length, you can use the extra optional wire later on. Attach both wires twisted together in the negative or minus side of the power socket. Attach the power socket to the power supply as shown. At the end of the step, you will see 2 wires, a green and a white with female jumpers hanging loose. These are the wires that will connect to your Raspberry Pi. In the last step, we will put all of this together. Let's have the following things on your work table: the Raspberry Pi, the GPIO multiplier, and the LCD hat. Let's carefully attach the GPIO multiplier on top of the Raspberry Pi. To do this, align the pins and give it a gentle push. Next, attach the LCD hat over the GPIO multiplier. I normally do this on the middle GPIO set. As you push down the LCD hat on the GPIO multiplier, please make sure that there is no undue pressure on the Raspberry Pi. Do it carefully and slowly while holding the GPIO multiplier. You can secure the 3 things together by attaching the provided screws. Just make sure you do not over-tighten. We are almost done, guys. Let's attach the white and the green jumper on the GPIO expansion board as shown. The white wire goes in pin 3 and the green wire goes on the pin 6 on the row closer to the LCD head. We are all set. Time to plug in the piano to the Raspberry Pi, power up the piano, and power up the Raspberry Pi. Have fun and enjoy your visualizer.